Hello, Bello.
Hello, Tom.
We should recording again.
Yes, we should, because you just
Live
showed me
stream
something.
live on the Watch Bello channel on Twitch and soon on YouTube.
YouTube.com/ we don't have a name yet. Please
don't know.
give us a name, because we can't upload anything until we know how to call it. Tom just showed me something that is I'm still processing. I'm not quite here. You do hear me, but it's only the voice. It's only a physical phenomenon. My spirit is somewhere else in the VR world. I don't know.
What did we watch, Bello?
We watched a video of a guy. I don't even know his name. What's his name? Disrupt. Well, the YouTube channel is Disrupt. Go check out his channel, and especially the video called "I Spent a Week in VR Headset. Here's what happened." And I feel like just by watching this clip, which is 16 minutes and 59 seconds long, I felt as if he was pulling me into the world that he was showing us. And yeah, you had a reason why you showed it to me. So maybe I'll throw the ball back to you first.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really well, I have some things that I took away from this. But I'm actually interested to hear if you have any takeaways, or if you need to think about it for a second, then I can start. But if you have anything that you're like, oh yeah, that was cool, feel free to go ahead with that.
So I guess I would say I have one positive and one negative thing. The general positive thing, I have a couple, but the first thing that I thought was, what an amazing idea. Wow, I love that he experimented in the right direction, and he asked the right questions. Negative thing that I have is I categorically disagree with something he says in the middle, and I forgot how he phrased it, but it was something like I have to rewatch it to actually find out, but I was like, it was super strong where I was like, oh no, I totally disagree. And it was something like, it was romanticizing the VR world as if it's like a utopia you can build if you want to. And I was like, no, it's not true. Absolutely not true. But yeah.
Okay. And what do you mean by utopia? What did do you know in what context, or what did he mean? Do you know?
It was something as if he was saying that you can, be wherever you want, and it's as if you stand there and stuff like that.
Oh, right. Felt, with the Google Earth.
Yeah, something like that in that area, something like this. And like, oh no, yo, okay. So the thing is, and he even corrected himself in the video. So he said, so it's something like, yeah, you can be so creative. You have all the tools. You can create whatever you want. And I was like, yeah, if you're creative and if you already know about the creative tools and experimenting and everything, but normal people who never touched, any creative tool, may it be a pencil, or a brush or Photoshop or whatever, they will not know what to do. They will have blank paper syndrome. Do you know the blank paper syndrome?
Well, I can imagine what it is.
Okay, yeah, you're just nodding.
I can imagine. Yeah, sure, but I mean, I can imagine what it is. Yeah.
So that's the thing. So,
but he also said in the video that it's very hard to get inspired.
Yes.
In the virtual world.
Yeah, I like this video very much because it's critical. It felt as if he was romanticizing, but he's not. He actually, the arguments that I had against him, he brought himself. This is why I like it a lot. And even in the end, I mean, do we give it away? Shall we just say his conclusion, or do we?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, if we said what the video is, people can go and watch it and pause the podcast if they want to, and come back after for the for our thoughts on it, because I think that's what we should talk about here. So one thing that, I guess I wanted to tell you, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about this video is, of course, because it's about technology, and I was really thinking about you. This would be right up your alley, because you are both critical and very positive about tech at the same time, especially technology like this. But one of the main takeaways for me from this video was when he said it is very easy to find your tribe or make friends in the virtual world, and communicating with people is also different because it feels like you're there with them, because you are put in the context of, okay, I'm in this world, I can look around and there's another guy and he's in this world with me and he's also surrounded by this world.
But let me tell you something about this experience, because I had a VR glass last year, was part of my university studies, and I did the same thing he did, not a full week long, but over a year. Every now and then I tried a new app, and I entered the VR chat world and I got bullied. I was cyberbullied by Russian kids. I don't know what they were talking about, but I could feel by the tone and how they were talking to me and everything. I knew they were bullying me. But
it also feels way more personal, right?
Yes.
This is exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
It is very interesting how it works, like how our brain works, that we're in the same physical space, it looks like for us as someone else, that it's much easier to connect with them on any level, right? Even in a negative way, but also in a positive way. Because otherwise, when you see someone on the internet on a screen, like he said, you're looking through a window.
Yeah.
So it's different than actually being in the same space it looks like for a brain.
True.
Another interesting takeaway from this, it's a podcast actually that a friend of mine discovered, Alexander Taylor Barrett, and he also showed me this channel.
Shout out to Alex.
Definitely, atb.media. He found a podcast that is being recorded in VR. So this is to me a very interesting concept that I also wanted to talk to you about. Of course, it's been done, so already it's an old idea, but it's a cool idea.
I don't care. You know,
but it's a cool idea that because you connect on a different level with people, so your conversation could also be different because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One quick thing about creativity, and it's been done and stuff, because I tend to do the same thing. Do you know the famous quote of, I think it was Pablo Picasso who said it. Do you know one of his most famous quotes? No. One of his most, if he was the guy, we have to Google it and whatever, but well, I'll just throw it out.
Sure.
He said, great artists copy and marvelous artists steal. Have you heard that quote before?
I haven't heard it.
Okay, so what do you think of that quote? Why do you think it's so popular and famous and whatever?
Wait, can you repeat? Great artists copy and marvelous artists steal?
Yeah.
Well,
or let's just say good artists copy, great artists steal.
Okay. Well, it's a hard one. I mean, I guess it makes sense because I guess you steal. Inspiration is taking parts, that we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's taking parts of what you see and forming your taste and taking that and using that in your own way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would call that stealing, but yeah, sure. I understand what it means.
Yeah. So I don't care if this podcast has been done. We can even do it, because even if I try to replicate exactly what you do, it will look different because it's my hand doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it's the exact same painting, it will have kind of my essence in it, or it will have your essence. And that makes it your art and my art, even if it looks the same. So the most important thing I believe in art is the intention, or the question or the statement. It's either a question or a statement. You either want to ask something or you want to say something, and that can never be the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but back to your podcast in VR recording. You wanted to say something about that.
I wanted just to talk about just that concept, even of just like connecting with people in VR, how that feels different. I guess you've experienced that as well with the VR chat thing.
I have experienced it, but the thing is, I know people don't know that, and I don't strike people like that, but I am an extremely shy person. I am extremely shy, and I don't like to, I can do it. I have the skills, and it's a thing that I trained and learned, but in VR I felt like, no, I don't want to. I don't know why. They were like
you felt shy.
They all knew each other, and I was like, I don't fit in here. It's not my world, it's their world, and I don't belong here. So I couldn't kind of get into the VR thing, and it was my job, my assignment to actually find out about these things, and I didn't do it. I just didn't do it. because I was like, no, I tried
But
it and it was,
yeah, but I think with people that you can have a conversation with, it could be powerful.
it could be. And after watching this, I am back on board, and I was like, oh shit, I already gave it back, like the VR glasses. Now I actually want to try it again.
Right? Me too.
I actually, the funny thing is, I saw these Oculus Rifts Quests. This is the glasses that I use in an electronic shop one day, and I was like, I think I'm gonna buy it. And then all of a sudden, my professor comes along and it's like giving this course with 3D like 2 months later, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sign up for this. And then he even gave us the glasses to take away for almost a year. So one thing that I want to say is buying VR glasses is not a great idea at the moment, because every year a new version comes out, which is way better. It's like as if a new RTX 3090 comes out every year. It's not worth your money. It's expensive, and next year you're gonna wish to have waited for another year. So at the moment, but I also tried VR chat one day on the desktop PC, and it's not comparable. Absolutely not comparable. And I told you before we started recording that I tried Phasmophobia with Yusuf, Professor Voigt. Shout out to Professor Voigt. Check out his Instagram. Professor Voigt, tell us your Instagram so they can follow you. Yusuf Badr, Badr, I think. Well, whatever. Yeah. So, and I was like, okay, this horror game in VR, I think my weak nerves would probably not take it. I would probably not be able to play that game.
Because you're in it then.
Yes, exactly. And the sound is already so compelling that it's scary. But so I have mixed feelings about VR. I remember this yoga session. This was very interesting to me.
Yeah. It is. Let's take a moment to read the chat, and we'll go on to the yoga session. Ozozon says, I think kind of this feeling has also maybe all people even get their TV in the 60s, the whole world in a box in their living room, just very limited. Yeah. That's the thing with things that feel like infinite possibilities. It's infinite, but it's nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
Professor Voigt says, I'm extremely susceptible to VR headsets. Even the cheapest stuff tricks my brain into thinking it's real. There you go.
And the thing is, I remember the first time I put on a VR headset, it was crazy, especially with these Oculus Quest things where you can actually grab stuff with the controllers. They are so good. With a small trick, it's just a button at your ring finger, but you can grab stuff and it feels good, or you can point and But yeah. Okay.
Very well done. No, it's a good point. Akira says it's even worse than that. All VR glasses that have come out since 2012 until now, I would still consider first generation. Until they surpass 110 degree or 110 viewing degree and super high resolution, it's still first gen. So Akira says that VR isn't ready yet.
Yeah, this is also true. I did my research and I went to VR conventions and everything, and I know about a couple of startups. I met them at special events and talked to them and stuff. So I don't know if it was 4K or 6K, but I saw a super high resolution VR glass, but it was still a prototype which was only presented to like VR specific audiences, and it's not ready out there. So I think it can be done. It will be done in the future. I believe right now it's just too expensive and not meant to be there, because I think the investors are testing how they can invest into this world and technology and everything. And this is why all the worlds are being built. But Tom, since we're already talking about VR worlds, building podcasts, VR chat and everything, have you heard about Project Horizon by Facebook?
I think I've heard of it, but I'm not sure what it is exactly.
Okay, I'm going to pull up...
Enlighten me.
I'm going to pull up the trailer, and we're going to watch the trailer because it's not long. It's like 1 or 2 minutes.
Sure.
Facebook Horizon. I think I've shown it before.
So it's a virtual world?
Yes.
Made by Facebook.
Made by Facebook, exactly. So here it is. It's 1 minute 32 seconds long.
Beyond our world, there's another world. and it's right here. On my face. Welcome. This is Horizon. Think of me as your guide / self-appointed spokes avatar, here to show you around. You know, Horizon is filled with possibilities. You can play stuff, make stuff, fly stuff. Whoa! Really love the stash, Stuart.
What up, Stuart?
Wait, I want a mustache. Horizon isn't about
my
rules
God.
or limits or pants. Or people telling you not to fly an airplane while drinking your fresh ground, fair trade, French press morning coffee through a curly straw. Isn't that right, Debbie? Mm-hmm. It's about getting out there and trying new things, making your mark, making friends with an Australian named Mark.
Oh, actually, I'm from New Zealand.
And you can even build a world of your own, like laser tag moon landing.
Okay.
Or this islandy place with these cutie patooties. Boop. In Horizon, the world is your lobster.
Isn't it oyster?
That too. So come, join us. A never-ending, ever-changing world beyond your world is waiting. Woo! Debbie gets it.
Okay.
So what do you say? What do you say?
I mean, actually, I think it's cool. It's kind of like a properly made VR chat. Yeah, I think it's like a VR chat. Of course, I mean, being from Facebook, anything that Facebook makes at this point, everybody's gonna raise an eyebrow. But at the same time, I think it's Oculus, and I can understand that Facebook themselves want to make an experience for their own product, so it makes sense for them to do this.
But I just don't buy it. You know, the thing is, look at the advertising for all the only audio listeners. The advertising has two layers. One layer is the real world where our narrator is speaking to us, wearing glasses. We never see her face, which is also something to notice. And then the other layer is the VR world, which is cel shaded, very like low poly, 3D. Finished, looks good, and cleaned up and everything. They try their best to make it look good, but it's so colorful. It looks childish. It looks so super friendly. Like you can never hurt yourself, whatever.
That's true.
You know. And the thing is, there's a mismatch because the person who's talking to us is a grown woman. She looks like a mother. Where are the children? Like her husband is doing the dishes or cleaning the dishes or whatever. And she is experimenting this world and showing how amazing this life is. It's like in advertising for the children who live right now for the time when they grow up. Like, you know, like this is what they wish to become. Like, well, when I'm grown up, I want to become.
I'm gonna be in VR.
Yeah, I want to fly a plane in VR. It's stupid because
It doesn't make sense. Yeah,
the grown-ups I know, like people my age or even older, they most of the time they put it on and like, okay. So, oh, this is interesting. And they play it for 5 minutes and then they pull it off and have something more important to do. So I don't buy it. I
Who
think
are they targeting here?
Yeah, this is exactly the question. Who are they targeting? They are trying to sell it to the wrong audience with the wrong clip. Obviously, it's like I don't know. Bad job,
But
Facebook.
that's mostly about the advertisement. Like, what about the world itself? Like, what do you think they wanna? What's the goal here of this world that they're making?
Of course, it's the evolution of social media, and that makes total sense because in the video of the other guy, I forgot his name already. One of his friends or his VR friends is also mentioning it, like the danger, or not the danger, just the fact that everything you do in VR is calculated and stored on a server and can thus be tracked and analyzed. And so, I don't know what's this is a very high price. What's the benefit? What do I get for that? You know, I give you everything. I give you my everything. You know how I move, how fast. You know, everyone, you know what's interesting? Everyone has their own unique heartbeat, you know, and we move in that heartbeat. Our steps are kind of in sync with our own rhythm. It comes from our mother when we're in the womb and we hear her heart and whatever, all that stuff. And they have it. We don't even know about that, but they know. They know how fast we move and why we move, what kind of music we like, because that's also something like, or why we like specific music and everything has to do with our heart. And they know all of these things that we don't know, so they can sell us the things we like without knowing why we like it, but they do. So what's the benefit? What do I get for giving them my soul? Like literally giving them my soul.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It's probably is an evolution of social media and the evolution of, you know, tracking our movements. And I think also, you know, what we choose within that world will also probably teach them a lot about who we are as people, right? And it's there's one more thing. Oh yeah, so this also, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's kind of a twist, right? Because current social media, especially things like Facebook, are very real. You know, they're about your real life.
Yes.
And this seems to be the complete opposite. This seems to be like you, whatever you want to be, or something like that. And maybe, you know, they can get some different data from that, or what you aspire to be, and then based off of that, give you some advertisements, or it's probably something like that, right?
The funny thing is, you know, we're both 90s kids, right? You're a 90s kid
Yes.
too, yeah. So when we were young, we used to watch 80s movies, right? And in these 80s movies, we always saw these malls where they had VR glasses, and we were waiting for that stuff. When is it already coming? I remember myself saying when PlayStation 2 was out, I was like, look at the graphics. Why do we have graphics like this, but we still don't have the VR glasses like we used to see in the old movies? And now it's here, and I'm like, no, go away. I don't need you. I like having my POV perspective behind the screen because the price is too high. It's just too high. If we had a kind of the question is, I see this world coming, and it's funny that we talk about this because last year I did VR in my studies. My topic was VR, and this year my topic is not AR, AI. So artificial intelligence and VR go hand in hand, and because kind of if you create a virtual world and if you combine it with AI, what would happen? What would it make? You know, and I like that in this video of the guy I spent 1 week in VR chat or in the VR world, he always has Matrix quotes playing in the back. You know, are you Mr. Anderson? And you can't die because I love you and everything. I'm a Matrix fan, so He asks subliminally. He's asking very important philosophical questions and also political questions. What does it mean if we would all live in a VR world? Look at our world right now. We have a global pandemic where we have a more or less global lockdown. We are all trapped behind our screens. More and more people are going and moving into the home office, and those who are ready, like you and me, look at our setups. We are ready for that. That's not a problem. We benefit from this situation. But imagine, what does it mean if we would all be in a VR world? First, before we can actually implement these worlds with that we treat like only a game world, it's not only a game world. As soon as you can interact in it, and if you can bully people, and if you can, you know, give possibilities and access to some groups and restrict it to others, then it becomes political. So actually we would need to have politics in these worlds, but they try to be anything but politics. It's the same thing that we see with live content, streaming, YouTube content. Everything goes as long as it's not political. Look at what happened with Trump right now.
Yeah.
Right?
That's another topic we should get into.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about this actually, but let's continue a little bit on this VR train, I guess, because Akira is saying some interesting stuff in the chat. I think,
Yeah.
because he's saying, what if all that data, when you put it next to medical research on genetic disease, suddenly it makes it obvious who can get a dangerous disease, but we can treat it before it happens. That's value. Why do you think our data is so valuable for ourselves? Not sharing it makes it useless. We didn't use it for anything before the internet was invented. Maybe this is the greater purpose of the internet, to share our humanity globally for the betterment of all mankind. That's what Akira X36 is saying here in the chat box, just to make it clear for the people out there. It's an interesting proposition, right? Because you're clearly on the opposite camp. So my question to you would be, you say it's a big price to pay, right? But people around the globe with social media, because it's free for us, but we're paying with our data, right? But what is the big price to pay for you, right? And why is that important to you, or why is that a big implication for you personally?
Yeah, my answer will be in a form of a question, and it's a small question. My question to you, and also to you, Akira, what do you believe is free will? Or do you even believe in free will? And I think that by giving away the data and not being able to collect data, you create this kind of disproportionate reality where you are powerless and you become a slave of the system necessarily, because you are dependent on the system, which has everything in their hands, like virtual hands. And you can virtually do nothing. You can ask. You are becoming someone who has to kind of beg, like, please, computer, create a world for me where I can be a bus driver. And if the computer says no, what are you going to do? Imagine you start out, I'm going to paint a dystopian scenario. You start out in the first year in a beautiful horizon. But then the one who is building the world decides to kind of, darken everything, or turn off the lights. Imagine you well, whatever, it's just a server. It's not the world is not in your glass. It's somewhere where you don't even know where it is. Like, you don't know if it's in Europe, in Asia, in North America, if it's in South Africa. You don't even know who is building the world. They give you tools like, okay, you can plant a tree, but that's basically it. And this so-called freedom they sell you is an Orwellian slavery. Honestly, it's like if you watch the movie 1984 or read the book by George Orwell, you're gonna see they change the terminology. They say freedom is slavery, or vice versa, something like this. And this is kind of the same thing, hidden in a beautiful advertising. So I'm very against that.
Yeah. I mean, you keep amazing me with your answers, man. You're like, you keep amazing me how smart you actually are. You don't even know it from yourself, but you're actually really freaking smart, because that's a really good insight, I think, to the problem, especially with the free will thing. Is actually, I didn't even connect those two things at all. So, but it's very interesting that you say that, because obviously with advertising, we are being literally manipulated. That's what advertising is. They're trying to manipulate you into making a purpose, into wanting something.
Yes.
And into getting it.
It's like, how do you call it?
That is,
seducing.
manipulating.
It's seducing you, and that's the thing.
That's better than forcing your hand.
Exactly.
Because you feel like you're making the choice.
You're pushing the donkey in the direction it wants to move anyways. Like, you hold a carrot in front of its nose and right on his back. And the thing is, they're like, hey, it's like, to me, somebody's jumping on my back and telling me where to go. Like, whatever. Let's say you can have any examples, like basic needs, like food, okay? Let's say somebody loves chocolate. Somebody jumps on my back and goes like, I know where the chocolate spring is. want to go there? And I'm the stupid guy who's like, oh, yeah, okay, let's move. It's so stupid. And
What are we waiting for?
yeah, exactly. Jump on. Let me walk. Let me do the walking. Like, oh, you want to create a world? Let me create the world for you. You want to create a prison? Why? You can't have my flat. Take my apartment. It's already built. Yeah, so I think the problem is I think these technologies are amazing, and I do agree with you, Akira. It is that so that we are the future, but we don't have the tools in our hands. We are in the hands of the tools. And that's the way we have to see it and say it, because if the tools were in our hands, then we would have the code, but it's not an open source code. It's never an open source code. I want to give you one example. One example is a new artificial intelligence model called GPT-3, which made huge waves the last half year. And the thing is, I have to demonstrate it. Sorry for leaving our space, but this is crazy. I think I showed it to you, haven't I, Tom? So the crazy thing is, the company is called OpenAI. Okay, so it's called OpenAI.com, and they have a new model called DALL-E, like Wall-E but with D, and this is crazy good. I don't know if I showed it to you. I think I showed it, haven't I?
Dolly? No, I don't think you've showed this one.
Okay, so
it's OpenAI.com, the blog, and it's the DAL-E.
Exactly. Thank you for filling in the info. So you can give a text prompt, for example, an illustration of a baby daikon radish in a tutu walking the dog. And this is what the AI is creating.
Yeah.
The AI is an armchair in the shape of an avocado, and the AI is creating these images. A storefront that has the word OpenAI written on it. This is crazy. Not only that, let me bring up more interesting examples. It creates 3D renderings of Homer, the philosopher, or whatever. It was trained on, they say, the whole internet. Of course, that's not quite true, but so much data that this model is now capable of creating code, programming, and everything. Like, it's so powerful. But the thing is, the funny thing about this is, it's called OpenAI. They call it a open source project, and it's not open. You have no access to it. There is a limited group of people, like 4 or 5, I don't know how many people, of 10,000s who want to actually try it out and see, like, look under the hood. Only a selected group of people can actually use this tool. So what does it do? It means that, some people are basically have the philosopher's stone in their hands, while we ask them to create gold for us. Like, why? Why do we need gold anyways? Gold is a payment thing. Well, was used as a payment thing, right? Okay, of course you can use gold in so many ways for luxury, for technology, for whatever. But most of the time, if you think of gold, you're thinking of gold as a payment thing where you can give gold to get something. Why would we need gold if we could just create it? And this is what is happening with the VR world and with the AI world, where we kind of we kind of turn ourselves into slaves, like Matrix has said how long? 20 years ago? Like to me it's extremely scary, to be honest, because we are walking. I see ourselves walking directly into hell, like, oh yeah, it's fun, woo, cool. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Yeah. This is hard to wrap my hand around.
Yeah, I
will
see.
Be honest.
Akira is also asking, like, why are you a slave if you share your data?
I think you already explained that, though.
Yeah,
because you're a slave because they're steering your free will. So you're not. I mean, I wouldn't really call it slavery as such, but I mean, they're definitely using your data, using what they know about you, which is a lot of metadata about you, and they can show you things that makes you, there's research about this, right, that they've done, that, steers your brain into a certain direction that they want you to go in, that somebody has paid for, right? Somebody has paid for your brain. They target you specifically, and somebody's paying, and they're saying, I want this person's brain to go into this direction. And it can go into any direction. It can be products to buy. It can be politicians, because we know that politicians are on Facebook and they do advertising. So they, anyone with money now has the power to manipulate the minds of the masses. And I think that is the point that Bello is trying to make here. And I do follow him in that direction to a point. I don't also think it's going to be a complete dystopia. I think technology can help us in many ways, and I think Bello thinks that too.
Yeah, totally.
There, like you said with the medical thing, I think that's totally a valid argument, but I do understand what he's saying, right? You're saying, Kira is saying now in the chat, was the alternative in a large scale? Are we all alert to future that is not correct, or is it inevitable that it has to go somewhere? So our best option is to focus on the free market as much as possible. Can manipulate you so the variation is so large, it's actually natural order. But is it natural order though? Because you have some people, that have a lot of resources that are steering. Is it natural order? I don't know if that's natural order, because when you have the resources, you have the power to, steer masses into a certain direction. And we're asking the critical question, is that a good thing or not? That's what we're asking.
Yeah.
Right?
So he's asking, what is the alternative? And this is the beautiful question. Exactly. This is also the same question that we are having, because it's kind of, to be honest, okay, I'm being very pessimistic today, I know, but Tom is going to be the optimist, hopefully.
I'll try.
So I'm gonna just say that from my point of view, it's already too late. To be honest, we are so used to our ways of living that we can't really change it. Improvement is going to happen. Technology is improving so fast. We are always kind of behind, because technology is most of the time released when it's already, everything has been done and tested, and then they sell it to you. And we see it like Apple introduced the face scanner. It's a biometric scanner of your face. Do you know what that means? It's like, we don't hack your device and everything, but it is possible. Only because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it's not possible. Look at the fappening. They said iCloud is safe. No, you can store all your data for us, with us. And then all of a sudden, we got all your naked pics and all your celebrities. Look at this website. You can see everything. And then they act as if it was a one-time thing. Look at how many banks are being hacked. Like, we don't talk about it because banks are safe and everything. But the thing is, it was weak passwords. It's the same thing. It's not about being hacked or not. It's about the idea that we have that our system is safe and nothing is going to happen. So it is a hack, but it's not a technical hack. It's a social engineering hack. This is what we're talking about. Look at what Facebook is doing. Look at Cambridge Analytica. Look at how Trump got elected president of the United States. And look at what is happening right now. So the consequences, we already see what is happening because of the technology that we have accepted. And introducing even more intrusive technology, what do we think is going to happen? Like what? This is why I'm saying, okay, I see there's a high price that I'm supposed to pay, and I'm asking, what is the benefit? In what way will it actually improve my life? Because I don't really see that we need it. I see that we want it. And I ask, do we need it? And then I ask, why do we want it? Do we really want it, or was it sold to us? Was it presented to us in an advertising that was very compelling and gave us an amazing idea? And if you want to know what I'm referring to, is there's a beautiful movie with Tom Cruise called Minority Report that asked the same question, where he's a... Did you see it, Tom?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the quick plot, anyone who doesn't want to know what it's about, turn it off for 10 seconds or not, whatever, mute the audio for 10 seconds. It's a policeman, a future policeman who is... they are kind of using AI technology. They are savants who can predict crime, and they use these savants, connect them to a hyper computer, and so they see a crime happening before it actually happens, like 20 minutes before it happens or whatever. So they prevent crime, and they can convict criminals before they committed the crime, because the savants are like 100% accurate. But then the police officer finds a prediction of himself killing somebody. Now what? Now he is fleeing and trying to change the outcome, because he says like, no, they're not 100% accurate. There's this so-called minority report. Like this, it's only a 99% probability. And now he's trying to go for the 0.01%. And it's like the system can change on you. Like the benefit that we see is... I don't think that we really need it. If we look at ourselves as human beings, I think I'm asking the question of where are we going, and why do we want to create this perfect machine God? Why do we want to have a machine God? Because this is kind of what I see what is happening. The question is, if it's a system, if it's a machine, someone has to operate it. And because we can is not enough for me, to be honest. Sorry, Akira, but it's not enough. Only because I can kill you doesn't mean I should do it. I can. Physically, I can. Like
you can't use that as a blanket statement, for sure.
Of course,
but one thing I wanna get to you though is also what he said before. Is we've established that we can use this technology to steer people in a certain direction that we want, right? That's possible at this point. But it was also a good point that I think he made is that it can also empower the opposition. So if everybody has that power, then it is it cancels each other out. I guess that's the point that he's trying to make. But I don't know if that's good or bad yet.
Yeah, and I think that the problem at the moment, so the biggest race that is happening in the back right now is the race for quantum supremacy, right? Between the Googles and I don't know who else is building. D-Wave is building quantum computers and everything. For anyone who doesn't know about quantum computers, look it up. Quantum computers is a very important thing for our world right now and our future world. And even more important than these things that we're looking at, AI and VR and all that stuff, but they all go hand in hand. It's about the possibilities. In this cheap Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, they say with big power comes big responsibility. And I'm asking, who is responsible? Who is going to take the responsibility? Who is going to be the operator? And how are we going to decide on that? All of these questions have to be answered first before these technologies get implemented. The biggest philosophical dilemma about self-driving cars, for example, is when a car has to decide whether to kill, let's say, 3 adults or 1 kid. How is the car going to decide? And what is going to be the right decision, for example? If, let's say there's an accident supposed to happen. And I say we haven't answered these questions, but we start to move into these worlds. And this is not a good thing, because in these worlds you have no rights, because they are virtual worlds. Like the rights are what the programmers decide. And since it's not a real world, it's not your physical world, your physical body that is taking harm, only your imagination. You can't even, how I said it. I was cyberbullied by some Russian kids. It's okay. They were just children. Okay, so I'm not that sensitive. But imagine they were playing the blue whale game with me and forced me to commit suicide. This would be a way different scenario in VR or in real world. In VR, it's like, hey, it's just a game. I'm shooting people in Fortnite as well. It's just a game. It's not where's the problem? But the repercussions they will affect you in real life. And I'm saying these technologies are moving too fast. If you just think about processing power, I think I forgot how fast our brain processing power is. But this is what Elon Musk is working on. Like, how fast is the fastest internet connection right now, Tom? You know that stuff, right?
Well, I don't know what the fastest
Like
internet connection is right now. It's probably something that Google is using. But I mean, you have gigabit and you have probably 10 gig. I mean, it depends. The fastest internet is the fastest wire standard that there is right now. I think you have 100 gig, you have 400 gigabits because you can pair them together in four strands. So I think it's like it has to be 400 gigabit is the fastest network speed right now, I believe.
And I think the brain processing power, I forgot the actual number, but it's something like 40 bits or whatever. Like, I don't know, but it's not even comparable. I'm trying to Google it on the side, but I can't really find it. So the thing is, like, you have to imagine as if you're walking in slow motion, like ultra slow motion, or you're thinking in ultra slow motion while these systems do calculations like extremely fast. So it's impossible. Okay. 44.2 terabits per second. Is that the fastest internet connection right now?
Probably not. I think that might be the brain, or it might be the fastest internet connection.
But 10 gigabits is not as much as 44 terabits, is it? There's somebody who talked about it, I think in a TED talk, and maybe this is gonna be a topic for a different day. But what I'm trying to say is that the consequences, the potential risks are so far away from what we can imagine that I say it's a very interesting experiment. I think it's good that this guy in the video asks the right question. What does it do to us? And he even concludes with, well, there's something about nature that we don't see, we don't hear, we kind of feel it. And this is something we can replicate. So what will it do? I would like to see, somebody who does it for a year. I don't want to see it because it's going to be probably dangerous for your psyche, but, and I think, once we have started and actually, if we actually decide to move into that world, going back is kind of impossible. Imagine going back to non-smartphone world. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's just,
Yeah, I think there's one more thing I wanna talk to you about. We're at 48 minutes now, so we have about 12 minutes left. So this is a topic that we started before, but we wanted to get into, and that's the Trump thing with the apps getting shut down and things like that. I have some serious doubts about this. Where there was this app called
Parler.
What was it called again? Parler, which is now being shut down by big tech because the main reason, I believe it was, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the main reason was that there's a lot of Trump supporters gathering on that platform, right? And the fear is that there's going to be a violent uprising being organized there or, being influenced there. And that's why they shut it down or took it off the App Store, while the owners of the app don't really have anything to do with that, I believe. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I mean, that's what I imagine. While at the same time, there are apps like, for example, Telegram, which I use, which is a really good messaging platform. That is known for its privacy. Also, things like Signal, any kind of privacy-oriented messaging app is also known to be used by, for example, terrorists to organize and to exchange messages securely, and those apps are totally fine. So this is kind of a weird contradiction to me.
Yes.
Why when they're taking this thing down with this implication. So I mean, what is your thoughts about that? For me, it's really strange that they're making this decision.
I think
to take this down.
I think really strange is the best way to put it, because the thing is, we don't have enough information. I think this
That's
is
true.
exactly the danger of our times. There's so much misinformation, and honestly, my biggest problem is fact checkers at the moment, because who appointed them fact checkers? Why do I trust them? I don't know them. If Instagram, for example, there was one thing I remember. One thing I saw, I don't even remember what it was, because it only happened one time or maybe twice. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening. I saw something. Someone was saying something critical in the beginning of COVID about the COVID situation. And it wasn't a conspiracy theory or whatever. It was just critical. And I sent it to someone in my private chat on Instagram. And then I got notified that I just shared, what was it, like fake news or whatever, and this was deleted. And I was like, okay. I didn't know that I'm not...
private message?
In my private message.
What the
And I was like, okay, that's a little too far. Even if I want to share conspiracy theories, they have nothing to say. Like, why are you reading what I'm talking to somebody?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Why are you checking if what I'm saying is correct? So the thing is, now, what you said about Parler is, I think, how I understand it and what I read is that this guy who founded Parler is a big Trump supporter. So we don't know how big a supporter he is. We don't know his
Which
hidden...
isn't the devil, technically.
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't equal he's the devil.
Exactly. So we don't know anything. But what I say is, it gives these private... This is what is important. They are private technology companies, and they get way too powerful to dictate our opinions. Because if I cannot say that I do not like it because they say it's forbidden to say it, they are censoring me effectively. And look at what Facebook and Instagram introduced with their shadow banning. I think Google started it. I don't think Facebook started it. I think Google started it with upvoting, more relevant search results. But I think Facebook perverted it in something very strange. As you say, it's super strange. Look at what they did. The president of the United States of America is still, he's still, thank you for cheering, Akira. He's still the president, like they call the president of America most of the time the most powerful man in the world. And he's not allowed to have a social media profile. What does it mean? It means that the social media companies are more powerful than the most powerful man in the world.
Yes,
that
exactly.
means that no man in the world can do anything. Not even if you're the president. To me, the president of America is not the strongest, most powerful man in the world.
Sure,
But this is the official way of how we talk about it. And effectively, he is very powerful. And now look at what is happening. I don't know. I'm not an American. I don't know about Joe Biden or Trump or who is right or who is wrong.
It's worldwide as well.
Yes, it's affecting all of us. Why is it affecting us all? And where can we actually fact check? What if Trump says something or Biden says something that I say is not true? How can I say, hey, this isn't true? Censor it. I have no power. This is a great example of what I'm trying to say. I have no button. You remember the Facebook introduced the dislike button at a time and then removed it again? So I can't even say I don't like it. I don't know if I haven't had Facebook for a long time now. So
sure.
But all of these things, it's like, wow.
You can say you're angry, but that's still pretty neutral.
I'm not angry, but
No.
Okay,
I know what you mean, but
I'm very passionate about
I understand. But I've also heard people talking about how what Trump is doing is if we, if they keep giving him a platform, it will turn into a dictatorship. But I feel like we're already in a dictatorship, but not from Trump.
It's so
but from big tech.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's so contradictory that they say they want to defend democracy by censoring other people's voices.
Exactly.
To me, it's I talked about it in the beginning about the COVID idiots. Those anti-COVID people who are. I'm like, hey, I don't have to share their opinion, but they should be able to just say it. I was a target of racism a lot in my life. I have, a little darker skin than white people, and that might be a problem to some people. But I still think they should be able to just say what they want to say and use their hate speech, because like this, they are at least out in the open. So I know how to defend myself from who, I know who my enemy is. But if you just censor it, it will not go away. They will come from the back, and I can't see them coming. This is way more dangerous.
It is more dangerous, and that is literally what democracy is, right?
Yeah.
Power to the people, and let the people decide what is dumb or what is wrong or what is right.
Exactly.
That is exactly what democracy is. Like, censoring someone will literally backfire on them so hard.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure this year something's crazy going to happen with this situation. This situation is not over.
Yeah.
You've seen how aggressive they already were with the attacks, even when he had a platform. Yeah. And when they deplatform him, these people become 10 times as passionate.
Of course, because now they feel confirmed that something is fishy. No, they feel like they need to. They need to. Like their fight is right now.
They were already fighting for against fake news and the media, and now it's big tech who's the big villain. Yeah. And they should let democracy thrive, because that's the only way we can have a democracy. I mean, to let people form their own thoughts and go from there. And if someone wants to be a complete idiot on social media, then people should make up their own mind about it. And sure, there's some crazy people out there.
Totally.
But and that is also democracy.
Yes, and the internet proves that this concept works. Look at Reddit, look at stuff. If somebody does something stupid, he gets roasted on the internet.
Exactly.
Like, we are not stupid. People are not stupid. And if you do something stupid, you will probably have repercussions, and you will never do it again because you will get cyberbullied. So there's absolutely no need to have someone, a big tech, who we don't know who is the chairman, who is the boss, who is calling the shots.
There's no name on it.
We don't know anything. We just know it's forbidden. It's like, this is why I was against the masks. This is the only reason why I was against it, because I was like, hey, I don't care if I have to wear a mask or not. It's just that I'm not being asked. It's being dictated to me, and I was like, hey, if we continue like this, then where does it end? And now it's like, I could have never believed that we go this far. Like, before we had a reason, a global pandemic. We have to try our best to kind of contain whatever. This is like not the best solution, but this is the best we could come up with, whatever. But now what the tech is doing is it's too powerful. We used to say, I don't know if you say it as well in Belgium, but in Germany they said media is the fourth state power, like the fourth government power. Because it's so powerful, propaganda and all that stuff. And I say social media has become first of all, the real fourth power. But if we had four already, then it's the fifth, and it's the most powerful. Because
I think so too.
It's they can measure. This is their business model. They say, who do you want to target? What do you want? You want to improve yourselves? Okay, give me that money. I will make it happen. They can, do it with such... they are so sure about their success. They know it's working. Why? And now it's just like, okay, we don't want you in our club, so you're out. I said, when I heard that Trump lost his Twitter account, I was like, I think he's going to be assassinated probably. Like, there's going to be like a coup d'etat or whatever kind of thing. Because I don't know if you know about the I don't know how to call him. I think he's president of the Turkey, Erdogan.
Yeah.
And there was this attempted coup d'etat, and the way he saved himself was he live streamed with his phone, and because he had this platform, his supporters were there to help him quickly enough. If he hadn't had that technology, it would have been very, very, they would have probably succeeded. I don't know if it was right or wrong that he survived this attack, but I just say, look what happened. Like, Trump is talking about founding his own social network. But if you look at the media, generally, wherever, he only did bad stuff his whole life. He came and had horns already. Like, it's like, he's a human being. He must have good sides to him as well, even if we don't see them. And we don't see him because someone who is deciding in these areas who I don't know doesn't want me to think good about him. But this was media, okay? It's okay. And then we have he's talking very good about him. He had Fox News. Now everyone kicked him, ditched him. And
yeah. That's also interesting to see that, right?
Right.
Everyone who was supporting him is now suddenly like, oh no.
Yeah. Because
it's all about their self-interest, right?
Yeah.
It's always about what's good for them.
Yeah.
And when the situation changes, they just change their compass completely 180 degrees.
All of a sudden, it's
so interesting to see
we
that.
said it from the beginning. I was never for him. I was only acting as if, it's so hypocritical, and I honestly, I am very, very fearful for the upcoming times because, if this continues, the only result I can see is a lot of fighting, because it's like everyone thinks that they are right especially because of confirmation bias. This is also a thing that this tech is doing. They only feed you with what you believe already. So how can you develop critical thinking? How can you find out that you are wrong? If you only see what you're like,
they let you show you what they want you to see,
exactly,
and they also show you what they want to see for you,
exactly,
in your context based on what you put in there.
Exactly, so, it's like like someone sitting on my shoulder and telling me, "Hey, Tom said that he said the N-word." Yeah, I swear I heard it. And then one day you just say negative, and I'm like, hey, I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did pass the hour mark.
Oh shit.
So we should round this off. Yeah. But I think the main takeaway of this last point is that I'm just scared for democracy in general.
Yeah.
And I think that indeed what you're saying is if, democracy breaks down, which is, starting to look like almost a possibility, that is a very scary thought for me.
Yeah.
Because they are doing this to not have a dictator, but they're making themselves into a dictator, which is the very scary part for me. So,
also they are taking away our possibilities to position ourselves because there's only one side you can stand on anymore. It's like you're either on our
because
side
all the
or
other
you're
info is not there.
Yes, exactly.
There's only info of one side, and the other, the other side is just because it doesn't exist anymore.
Fact checkers, of course, you're always
because
lying.
they don't like that information or that opinion on there, and therefore they steer us in a completely different direction. Which is, I think, is it unprecedented that they do it so publicly? Maybe they've been doing that behind the scenes, but I don't think that it's happened before. That they're taking such a stance like this.
This is such a bold move. This is like
it's a scary proposition that's happening right now.
You would only do that if you're absolutely sure that you can, you will have no repercussions. You will have no negative feedback.
They're unbeatable.
Yeah, unbeatable. Exactly.
And that's
I think
very
it's part
scary.
of the strategy, and I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I think it's a bluff. They try it to make us believe it, because if we believe it, it's like if the enemy thinks that you're unbeatable, you are unbeatable. And this is what their strategy is in my eyes. I don't know. So I'm curious. I'm watching from the sidelines, because what else can we do? And the only thing that we can do, we just did. We talked about it. And we can
True.
hope that someone hears it and is like, whatever, but that's it. And yeah, we're going to find out where they go.
Let's see what the future brings. It's going to be very interesting. It was very interesting talking to you.
Yeah,
once
thank
again
you.
about,
Thank you for
about
preparing
VR,
the topics.
about AI, about tech, steering us into directions that we might not want to go if we're actually thinking about it. So all that's left for me is to thank you.
Yeah, and for me is to thank you. You prepared everything very nicely and gave me a lot of things to talk passionate about. I love talking passionate. And yeah.
I love listening to you talking passionate.
Give us some applause.
Hey.
We need some applause. And yeah, we should do it again. And for anyone who was able to listen to us up to this point, thank you for listening. Thank you for contributing. Of course, we have opinions, but they are only our personal opinions. They don't mean that we know everything. We just allow ourselves to think openly, discuss it, because this is what it's all about. This is what we need to do. So if you like that, please tune in the next time and be sure to follow us on the channel that has no name.
Yes, follow us on the place that we don't know where to follow yet.
Exactly.
Well, in the meantime, you can of course follow Watch Bello on Twitch, where we are still located.
Or Dagon on Twitch as well, of course. Or Tom.photo on Instagram.
Tom.photo. Yeah. So, but we will definitely find a home.
Yeah.
And we will be relocating to that, and we'll definitely let you know once we found that.
Yeah. And until then, we're gonna go with our most favorite music. Do you have one more thing to say, or am I cutting?
That's about it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Tom, 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 Tom. Tom, 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 Tom.
Shut it down. See you later. I love you all.